Welcome to the Manuchehri podcast. Over the last 30 years, it has been my joy to assist humanity in aligning with their magnificence so they may heal, discover their natural gifts, and communicate with loved ones living on the other side. May you also experience delight while we dance in the powerful, intuitive world of energy. Let's get going. Welcome to where energy meets the divine. I'm excited for sharing our time together. Today is April 9th. I'm recording in the Pacific Northwest. This podcast will go up tomorrow on the 10th of April. We are officially in a lot of beautiful transits that are moving forward. We're moving out of retrograde. Just a little bit of an astrology update here. We're still in some eclipse energy, but we're moving through it. And of course, Neptune currently is in Aries. It's new position for the next 14 years, which means a lot of beliefs are going to change. This is a powerful time in the world's explosion of consciousness after Neptune being in Pisces, which could awaken maybe more mystical aspects, but even some sort of leadership towards unhealthy belief systems. We're having this emergence of awakening into perhaps a bigger truth, a wider connection to all possibilities, and a recognition that we can all live in the reality of our choosing, regardless of our circumstances, which is true. Everything's about vibration. Everything's about frequency. Everything is about energy. The sooner you can believe that as a fact, it's actually a scientific fact. It's a quantum physics fact that everything is made out of subatomic particles. Hence, everything's made out of energy, including your belief systems. And depending on where you run, that means move, your energy system, that creates your reality. So if our vibration is at a low frequency, meaning that we're holding our energy, which means the frequency is when you hold it, like holding a tone. If you're singing a song or playing music, you're holding a particular tone. That creates a frequency of your energy system. So if your energy system is holding a frequency that's low, the opposite of higher vibrations, then you attract more things that we do not desire, things that we do not like, things that are probably not in our best interest. We always are learning. It doesn't matter what we're experiencing, really. But you are here to learn how to manifest in the third dimensional space because it's different than non-physical realities where you don't need things like money, food, clothing, housing, relationships, a job. No one can harm you because you don't have a body. And the rules are very different in terms of there's so much consciousness. There's no reason to harm another. Like there's literally no reason. And as someone is flying through the cosmos in the non-physical reality, they immediately are shown what would happen if they use their energy in any particular way. So right away, before you even make a decision, you already have knowledge. This is something that older souls have a tendency to do naturally, where before they make choices, they actually have an awareness of potential outcomes and conclusions. This is what happens when you raise your frequency. This is what allows you to maintain a vibration and a higher, running vibration of subatomic particles, which allows you to have outcomes that are more fulfilling and interesting and more powerful for you. Here's a weird example. So I don't love to garden as much as I used to, but I used to love to garden, and I did all of my own gardening. So that means moving sod, moving mulch, plants, trees, all kinds of things like that. I loved it. And so I was a hand weeder because I also feel very uncomfortable putting herbicides on my lawn or someplace where my kids are going to be or pets. It was challenging for me. So I worked like a dog in the yard pulling weeds regularly, often. One of my daughters, who is an agronomist, by the way. That means she studies agriculture. She did. She works in the corporate world now, but she used to teach as well at the university level. Her and her husband, who's also an agronomist, they pull their weeds by hand. So they know a lot about chemical makeup. I don't really know the chemistry behind it, but I can feel the energy of herbicides, and they don't feel good. I'm sure there's organic ones that would feel better. I've certainly done certain things for pest control, like neem oil or diatomaceous earth, for bugs that could be problematic around the property. But this is about, really getting into weeds. So I would hand weed which takes forever. And as soon as you finish one side of your house, you got to, you do the other and you got to go back again. It's like this constant thing. And so one year when I was at a store, I think like a Fred Meyer store, I don't know if we have them all over the country, but I was at a local Fred Meyer store and I saw a bottle of a popular weed killer. I just grabbed it. I was tired. I'm like, oh, I'm just going to spray this around just one time. So I get it home. It never left my garage. I just could feel how unhealthy this would be, not just for humans and animals, but the planet, because those chemicals eventually get down to the water table. They get into all the things that we eat and drink. And this is why I am a fan of organic produce as well, and, all the other foods that we might eat. So feeling the energy of how things are going and keeping your energy elevated gives you clarity. So even though in a weak moment, I, bought this large container actually of weed killer, and it sat in my garage for years before I, turned it into some company that will properly dispose of it. I could feel when I got home that it wasn't in alignment with my vibration, with my frequency, with my energy. And it lowered my vibration. Even when I got close to the container, it lowered my vibration. If you've ever shopped in a hardware store and you walk down the pesticide, herbicide aisle of the store, it may not feel good because you can feel literally how it's affecting your subatomic particles. It's lowering them. It's creating a lower frequency. It's actually creating some stagnant energy with your own human energy system. So as you start to manifest and practice running your own energy higher, that means finding authentic reasons to be happy. I know I've said that more times than you can count, but I'm not kidding when I say this. You start to feel more accurately things that are not in your best interest. Even if your logical mind did what mine did, well, I'll just do it this one time because I was tired of hand pulling weeds. Now I have someone who mows my yard for me, and he uses a weed whacker just to trim those weeds down. He pulls some out sometimes, but we have found a nice happy medium because he would love to spray something in my yard too, but I don't let him. So I'm telling you all of this because one of the things that I think keeps human beings from having this fuller understanding of the vibration of their energy, like from low frequency to high frequency, is they don't let their energy get high enough to be able to notice a difference between low frequency and high frequency. A lot of people get uncomfortable because it can feel weird in your body when your energy especially starts to soar high. A lot of humans are very comfortable with their energy being low. It's where most people in the world maintain their vibration is in low frequency. So it's comfortable, it's familiar, we know what to do when our energy is low, but all the stuff you don't want exists there. That's why you've got to get your energy elevated. So one of the things that happens when people start to run subatomic particles at a higher frequency in their body, they don't like the way it feels. It scares them. Not everybody, but a lot of people. Enough people that when I've taught classes, on a large platform, it is a common question, concern, worry that I hear from participants of classes that I'm teaching. So one of the things that can happen when you start to run your energy high, it can feel like something's pushing on the internal parts of your body outward. It can feel like that. And people don't like that. People might start to sway. A person might start to sway their energy because as your subatomic particles start to move faster, your body may start to have involuntary movement. That's not a bad thing either. You can also feel pressure like pressure in your head as your psychic ability opens, on top of your head as your connection to source expands. You may feel pressure in your heart chakra. You could have tingling. It could be a little uncomfortable. But please, if these things start to happen to you, when you're raising your vibration, when you're starting to feel joyful, when you're looking at a sunset and it's blowing your mind, of course your subatomic particles are going to be moving at a higher frequency. Let it happen. Don't stop it. Don't go, what's that? Why am I feeling that? Is this a heart attack? Literally, that's what some people think. But that's not what's happening, I'm sure, most of the time. What's happening is your body's getting comfortable with running its energy higher. Just like an athlete who has to push themselves. If they want to win the race, they've got to push their body a little bit harder so that they can get across the finish line first. That's what's happening to you. You're just having a physical representation of this busy energetic response that's occurring in your body. So if you could let it happen, if you could tell yourself, okay, I'm all right. It's okay that I'm feeling this kind of weird feeling as I'm looking at bald eagles flying in the sky close to my own body because I'm so happy. It's okay. So you're going to have lovely internal conversations with yourself that it's okay and it's safe for you to run energy at a higher frequency. Because as you get comfortable with it, you're going to stay there. You're going to like it. You're not going to lower your vibration often. And when you do, you're going to go, this doesn't feel good. What are the things that I like to do that make me happy? Oh yeah, I'm going to go do that. And you're going to go do something else, maybe even take a nap, because taking a nap can recharge your energy system. It can take you away from the overthinking logical mind and get you back into a high vibrational energy system. When people have REM sleep, their energy it leaves their body, a big portion of it, goes off into the heavens to be recharged, your real home, and then comes back into your physical form as you're waking up. It can be very effective, helpful. So please recognize that any form of what you have interpreted as discomfort that might occur as you're learning and practicing and raising your vibration, even if you reach a plateau and you are attracting great things in your life and you're really happy, but all of a sudden, you're starting to raise your energy again. That's good. That means you are expanding. You're going to move beyond the normal life experiences that humans have. And you want to do that. You want to have extraordinary experiences. You want to feel that you are the truth of who you are, a magnificent being of light in the temple of a physical form, having a different experience, a different journey. So even if you reach a place where you're like, wow, everything's just working out for me. And it always will. Things resolve, even things that you don't wish to happen that happen, they're going to resolve in the best way possible when your energy is elevated. But you may be inspired. Your soul may call you to even a higher frequency. So you need to become comfortable with what some people consider an awkwardness of energy. When I was a nurse in the hospital and I was training myself to do energy work, because I'm self-taught, on a couple of occasions, I would leave a patient's room and I wanted to go into another patient's room right away. So in my mind, I didn't realize I wasn't feeling good. I was just like, okay, I'm done. I learned a lot from that experience. Who else can I go touch? But in truth, I really wasn't feeling that good. I think I absorbed at the time too much of the person that I was working with. In other words, a lot of our patients on the oncology floor were in a lot of pain. They were uncomfortable, even if we were medicating them. You know, they could have a bad day or a hard day. And some of them were in there for weeks and months at a time. So they miss their family, they miss their routine of their life. So I hadn't learned how to run my vibration high. It took me a little while to get into that space where I could run my energy at a higher frequency. So I was holding on to the vibration of others. And then I wanted to go touch someone. And my guides on 2 occasions that I can recall said to me, you need to go take a break, go sit down outside, get some lunch, sit by the waterfall, recharge your batteries so that I could move my vibration in a more elevated fashion before I go lay hands on another person. Not just for that person, but also for the healer. The healer needs to help their energy to stay in a high frequency. That's why I encourage all people, especially when it comes to work, because we spend a lot of time working on this planet, or hobbies, to have meaningful, wonderful hobbies, that we need to be mindful of how we feel about them, to recognize when we don't feel good about the choices we've made or we've changed, we want a different experience, that we need to seek those out. We need to manifest those. You can manifest whatever you want. You have to be aware of where your energy is about it. Listen to it, pay attention to it, follow it, let it fly in high frequencies. You'll have many more opportunities. So if you're new to my channel, thank you for liking and subscribing below. I'm going to go ahead now and listen to voicemails that have been left on my website, energyintuitive.com. You can leave a message there, and then I answer them on these podcasts. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Okay, thank you.
Hello, Marie. My name is Laura, and I live in North Bend, Washington. And I just discovered you recently on the YouTube channel, and I've really been enjoying watching your podcasts. It's very inspiring to me. I would like to know if you could do a reading for me. I believe that I have some issues with my sacral area chakra, and I would also like to know if I am an old soul or a young soul. Many years ago, I was told that I was a young soul, but in listening to your description of an old soul, I'm thinking I might be an old soul. I'm a real people pleaser, and I'm always trying to do things for other people. It makes me happy, but um, I know that I need to work on my own happiness. So any insight you can give me, I would greatly appreciate it. And thank you so much for everything you do for people. It's absolutely amazing that you give yourself in this way.
It's my pleasure, Laura. Laura lives in North Bend, which is, because we have traffic now in the Northwest, we didn't used to. So probably an hour for me, maybe an hour and a half. Lots of great hiking trails in that area, and a discount mall that I haven't been to in a long time. So the sacral area is where the second chakra sits. It governs reproductive organs, the kidneys, adrenal glands, lower back, the appendix, the bladder. Okay, I think I covered it all. And it's the only chakra out of the 7 primary chakras in the physical form that has a secondary responsibility. So all the chakras have an emotional component and then this anatomical physiological component to the vortex. The emotional component for the second chakra is joy, something I talk about all the time. But it has this other responsibility. It also governs key areas of human life, like career, wealth, creativity, intimate partnership, close personal friends, many things that humanity wants to improve upon. They want to have more wealth. They want to have work that's fulfilling in their life, or hobbies. They want to have great intimacy. They want to have wonderful friends. And they do want a creative outlet, which I highly recommend. I think creativity, if you can find something that you really like, it's very fulfilling for you. It's a moment in time where you surrender and let go and kind of play. And in those moments, I think creation is easier to hear or see or feel. For those people who really want to communicate with their spirit guides more, or the afterlife, get into a creative space, a playful space, with the intention that you also want to have this deeper connection with the multisensory world. I think it'll help a lot. But back to Laura here. So people pleasing. Yeah, it's not good for the second chakra or the sacral area, the lower back, any of those organs. People pleasing, over giving, over nurturing. I know it feels good to help people, but you have to find out the ways that actually make you feel good when you're helping people. Because older souls, and yes, you're an old soul, you're definitely not a young soul. I wonder who told you that. I'm so curious. What was the reason for that comment? But older souls, because they're so familiar with nurturing and caring for others, which they don't need any more education on. They don't really need any more experience about it. It's like old hat. They know how to do it. They know how to take care. It's a natural instinct for them. But they've also spent hundreds of thousands of lifetimes perfecting the art of nurturing, loving, caring for people unconditionally. So when you're an old soul, especially if you're on Earth, one of the reasons why you chose to come to Earth is because you wanted to learn self-nurturing, self-love, self-compassion, which is the opposite of overgiving. And I think in our mind, it feels good because we're so good at it. It's just natural. It's a natural thing to do for old souls. But it doesn't always and rarely give the old soul what they really need, which is their own expansion into their own magnificence. It can slow them down, and the lower back area will start to leak energy when a person overgives, they over nurture, and they're not thinking of themselves. And older souls have to take time. Recently, one of my daughters texted me. She'd been plant shopping and she bought an extra plant that she didn't need because this one particular plant's going to grow 8 feet tall. So she wrote me and one of her sisters and said, "Hey, do you guys want this? It's going to be 8 feet tall. I bought too many." And I noticed in my mind, I want to go, "Of course, I'll take it. Thank you so much." Wanting to help her out, but also feeling great that she graciously wanted to give me something. And I had to stop myself because it's my first, to fix everything, make sure everyone's okay. If this is a plant, it's very small right now, at least I'm assuming it is. So I gave myself like 24, almost 48 hours. And it took me a while because I really don't have a lot of space around my house where I could put a plant that's going to be 8 feet tall. Not really. Which is going to require some grooming and other things. And I know this plant also attracts a lot of bees, which is good for my yard, but I'm like, I have to strategically place it away from where grandchildren are going to be playing. And do I really want it? Or am I just trying to make everybody happy? Finally, I had this image. I woke up in the morning and I knew exactly where I could put it, where it would be kind of out of the way. It could have some freedom to grow, and bees would not be too close to a lot of human activity. But it took me time. So that's what I'm asking you to do, Laura, is you need to give yourself more time. People who need help are attracted to old souls because they know that we're going to say yes. They know we're going to say, sure, okay, yeah, what else can I do for you? It's my pleasure. But give yourself between 24 to 48 hours before you respond in kind. Sure, happy to do that. I want you to sit with yourself. Is there something else you wanted to do? Like in my case, do you really need another plant? I want you to sit with yourself. You're going to feel selfish. And if you feel like you're being selfish, you are on the correct track. If you feel like you're in that familiar energy of overgiving, then you're still in the pattern of not putting yourself into the equation of whatever's going on in that part of your life. You are an active participant in it, and your needs need to be evaluated as well as everyone else's. It's critical. And this is all connected to people pleasing, by the way. All connected. Yeah, it's connected. Okay. Thank you.
Hey Marie, this is June. Thank you for taking my question and thank you for reminding me about self-compassion, which I need to work on. I've lost my job a few months ago and struggle to find my next career move. I feel like taking a long break from work as my child is starting school this year. However, as a single mom, I do feel the pressure to find a source of income soon. I would be grateful for your advice and insight, please. Thank you so much. Take care.
You're welcome, June. And I'm glad you get to spend time with your children or child right now. That's wonderful. So let's first change the perception of a few things. Instead of saying you lost your job, let's not say that. It's a common thing that people say all over the world. But if we want to have a different perception about work and career and resources, we need to change our language. We need to have a more higher vibrational response to what happened. So you could say instead, yeah, I'm having a change in my work environment. And what I want for you, I'm actually happy you haven't found a new job yet. I don't know the financial situation. It feels okay. Like you still have time before you really have to get another job. That's what I feel like. And I want you to have the sabbatical with your daughter or your son. I think it's a daughter. I want you to have the sabbatical time. So first of all, we have to get out of whatever energy you might feel that's lacking regarding work. That means you have to manage your mind to not to go in that vibration because that's a low vibration. That's not a high frequency. It's low. And then let's think about what you do want. I made some notes. Perhaps you want to, because we're going to work on manifesting, a job that is flexible, has hours that work around your daughter's school schedule, and maybe work from home, and a really nice company or boss that trusts people to do their work within a 24-hour period, but maybe not, in the section that's predetermined. In other words, again, flexible. That's what you really need, because we want you to get a job that you can flourish in and grow in and have the time to dream and envision and to feel good about yourself so that you can continue to manifest other work in your life that could be a reflection of your higher self, of your magnificence. So in manifesting, your job is to feel. That's the most important thing. Feel, Feel, what it would be like if the things that I suggested, if those feel right to you, were in your next job. You already have this job. You don't have to think about when it came about, how it came about. And of course, it gives you the resources that you desire, but it's flexible, family oriented, trusts you, a wonderful boss or company. That's what you want to envision. And I don't mean so much as envision. I don't want you to be in that place where you're looking at every detail. Some people believe in that aspect of manifesting. I don't. I think humans can get off on complexities of, oh my gosh, well, if that happened, then this is going to happen. And then they're on all this lower frequency visualization. I want you to feel. So maybe you see yourself relaxed, picking up your daughter, dropping her off in the morning, being available to go there at lunchtime or volunteer if you need to, go on field trips, be able to be home with her if she has a cold. I want you to feel that it's already happened, not how, what, where, when, or why, but you have this really cool job that actually piques your interest and makes you curious. So you're like, oh, I'm going to go do that cool thing again. And I have all this great flexibility because I work for a person or a company that trusts me and believes in me. And together we work wonderful and we get things done in the best and most appropriate ways. That's what I want you to work on. Okay. I hope that's helpful. And I hope it's helpful for everyone in terms of some of the important rules, quantum physics rules that surround the art of manifesting, because we're manifesting all the time, whether we're conscious of it or not.
Hi, Marie. My name is Suzanne, and I'm hoping that you will help give me some guidance on my physical health, whether it's medically and or spiritually. I'm 59, and I've been struggling with completely healing from a severe car accident from 13 years ago. But there's a few other things that are really affecting my health right now.
Right.
So just to give you a little background, my left foot still hurts a lot from the car accident, but many other things have healed themselves. The main symptoms right now that are quite debilitating are massive weight gain, especially recently after very stressful moving, daily fatigue. I can barely get through the day, and it certainly doesn't leave me much, and it leaves me energy to do much else in my life, socially, beyond just working. And I have constant pain in my hips and sacral. Last week, I did just get diagnosed with severe osteoporosis in my hips and my lower lumbar. But the pain I know is different, but I don't know why. Insulin resistance and hormone balancing are two areas that I've just started to set up appointments to get addressed. And the severe osteoporosis, I'm also just setting up appointments to get addressed. So sorry that took so long. If there's any thoughts or ideas or any help you can give, I'd so very much appreciate. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Suzanne. And I'm sorry about the car accident and your left foot. Everything that you described is about hormones, besides the left foot, potentially, bone problems, weight gain, insulin resistance. That's all related to hormones. Probably your cortisol level is elevated. I wish that we had a better understanding about hormones, especially for women. I think that would be wonderful. I am a fan of bioidentical hormones. So that means they come from a compounded pharmacist, and they're made to really match your own system to the best of their ability, versus, because they aren't hormones, they're plant-based, but they mimic, hormones from a plant perspective. They're much healthier than horse urine or whatever doctors use these days, or I should say modern medicine. So that's the main problem. Your cortisol levels are elevated. I would ask, that was great for our conversation, please don't use words like severe, critical, harsh as you were describing your health history. And I understand why you used those words, because that's how you're feeling too. It's like, oh, now this is wrong, and now that's wrong, and now this is happening, now that's happening. And, just try not to use them as you're talking to other people, because we don't want to put a lot of negative emphasis on your health issues. Estrogen is really helpful for bone density. That's the main reason why I started taking it when I turned 60, is to take estrogen for my bones per my naturopath's recommendation. And it helped with other things, and helped with hair, and it helps me with sleep, and so many other things. So you're on the right track. Again, compounded hormones, bioidentical. And although the osteoporosis is problematic, and I love all forms of medicine, sometimes unless you have a fracture, it's so severe that you're having fractures, or you're at the risk of having fractures. I'm not a fan of Western medicine's current approach to osteoporosis. But if someone's severe enough, then yeah, we need to get something to make sure they don't break bones just from walking or breathing, because that's not healthy. There is a 2 supplement formula that works on osteoporosis. It actually went through trials. So I will put a link to it, maybe not by tomorrow, but I will put a link on the YouTube page where you could click on it. And I'll probably link Amazon just because it's the fastest. Well, there's a couple places. I might find a different place where you could purchase it. So it's 2 supplements that work together that have been proven through actual research to diminish significantly osteoporosis, which is exciting. I'm just kind of looking at the all over thing here. You do need to be really, 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 really nice to yourself, like very loving. You need to cherish yourself, adore yourself. I think that's critical for everyone, actually, in every walk of life. But I think you're going to get better. That left foot, it's all about receptivity. And you have a leak on the left-hand side of your body from like C1 all the way down to the tip of your toe. So the left-hand side is about receptivity, and you're not allowing energy, and you're leaking your life force. So I would use a what if question, like, what if I'm holding my life force in? What if I believe I'm worthy to have a healthy energetic system that allows my body to be happy? That's your new what if question. I hope that it helps you and that you continue to get well. I think you're on the right track, by the way, especially getting your hormones reevaluated, compounded. Okay, thank you.
Hi, Marie. I'm Luiza. I'm Brazilian. So I'm intuitive medium, and I think that I am a healer, and I have a close relationship with my guides, but I wish I could have an even closer relationship with them. To be honest, I find the vibration in here a bit slower than in Brazil. I don't know if it's something geographical or it's because Brazil is my motherland, quote unquote. Therefore, I've kind of lost a little bit of telepathic conversation that I used to have with them. Sometimes it still happens, but it isn't something that I could switch on and off like you seem to do. So I've always worked in the fashion industry. However, I find it very toxic, and I cannot do corporate work anymore. So now I am self-employed because I do love my craft. Good. And I'm also a teacher, sewing teacher and pattern making teacher.
Cool.
And this brings me great amount of joy.
Great.
By the beginning of the year, I have received a call to start studying naturopathy. and come out of the closet with spirituality and align that with my nutrition studies, which I love, and with the guidance of my spirit's guides to help me to do that work. Because the work that I do today to help others is more one-on-one conversations. But in order to do that, the other work, I think I should have an even closer contact with my guides. And one of them is a healer, is an Indian doctor healer, and he shows me the others' chakras and how they look like sometimes, and they heal them. But I wish I could know more about that. I really study about chakras. I even did your course about chakras. So finally, my question is, what is the spiritual work that I should do here on earth? Am I really a healer? What should I do? And is through my craft and one-on-one conversation, or is following this call to change careers? Also, I would love a aura reading from you. I love the work that you do. Thank you so much. And I love you.
Oh, I love you too. And it could be that, Brazil, I haven't been to Brazil, but all the images I've seen, like lush forests everywhere. So that could be a high frequency, just having so much natural habitat and deep original forests. We don't have as much of that in the United States like we used to. I live in an area that still has quite a few trees, surprisingly, but it's decreased, over the last 20 years as well. So just remember, I've done this for a very long time. And when I first started to work, I was working in a hospital. So I got to lay hands on patients every single day. I was encouraged to by my nurse supervisor. When I told her the experiences I was having, she said, "Oh, you need to be laying hands on our patients." So I did. And so I've been working in the energy medicine field almost daily for close to 30 years. So a long time. So I've had a lot of experience. And you need to have a little bit more experience, like a little bit more of action in this part of your life. A lot of guides are healers for healers. I've had all kinds of people help me, whether they were guides from the other side or departed loved ones from the other side, have helped me throughout my entire career. And I'm grateful for their assistance because they can be extremely helpful, just like your guide is helping you with chakras. If you decide to go in the naturopathic way, sure, you're going to do more like labs and other tests to see what's going on inside people's bodies from that medical perspective, which is genius. But you're still going to have conversations with them, because the majority of naturopathic doctors that I know, they believe that health issues are emotionally connected. That's why they're so good at their job. They have the science and the deep cellular perspective of what's happening that not all medical doctors will spend time in diving deeply into. But yet they also talk to their patients and find out what's going on with them emotionally. So there is a one-on-one interaction. You spend more time with an ND than you do an MD. But my question is to what brings you happiness? I feel like you feel like things haven't moved forward in the direction that you want them to as rapidly as you would like them to. And I know that can be discouraging. What I noticed when I drew out your auric field is that you have leaks on the third layer, which is your mental plane. It has to do with your thoughts. And I think your thoughts of yourself need to drastically improve, regardless of what you choose. That you need to think better of yourself. You need to think that you're amazing, that you're miraculous. Whatever feelings you have for others that you think are that way, you need to incorporate those emotions into yourself. As we feel love and compassion and joy and excitement for who we are, our vibration increases and we get closer and closer to connecting with our higher self, the true wholer picture of our vibrational self. And then we start emanating that energy into this physical reality. So that's what you need to work on. And the holes on the auric field are from a lack of self-worth. That's what creates problems, obviously a lot of problems in one's energy system. But when I'm looking at the third layer of the auric field, that means there are mental thoughts that are not positive towards yourself. And they need to be for everyone, regardless of what we do on Earth. It will change our lives, and then it will create this tipping point where we get a large percentage of the population starting to think more positively of themselves as well. So I don't think that totally answers your question, but I hope my comments are helpful. Thank you.
Oh, hi, Marie. My name's Diane. I'm in Australia. And I contracted breast cancer about 7 years ago, and I refused hospital treatment, doctors, and Western medicine because I had seen how they handled my sister's cancer and the fact that they kind of killed her quickly with the treatment they gave her.
Right.
While they promised her time. So anyway, I've rejected hospital treatment and I'm treating it myself, and I feel pretty confident with the treatment I'm using.
Great.
The reason I'm asking for you to have a look at me is that I'm really not sure specifically about the emotional trauma content of contracting the breast cancer. I know I've had a lot of trauma throughout my life, and I tick all the boxes for someone that does get cancer because of trauma. I did have a lot of parasites which I've treated and am treating, so I've ruled that side of it out. And now I just want to look at the psychological, emotional cause for the cancer. I have insecure relationships with both my sons. And I was a single mum, and we had a lot of trauma from the men, or the fathers, two fathers. Point is, I know a lot about it generally, but if I had to nail down the main specific reason of the way I've been thinking and feeling throughout the years that has caused the cancer to begin, if you have any insight, it would be great, because then I could do EFT and certain sort of things like that to address it. Thank you so much for this opportunity. You're very, very kind to think of people, and we're very grateful. I am very grateful. Thank you.
You're welcome. When you have a job that you love, like in my case, I love my job. I like to find a way to give back. And so this is my way of giving back, is by, answering questions people I've never met, the majority of them. I may never meet them, but I'm hoping that whatever I offer is helpful. Your sister is standing behind you. She's giving you a hug. It's kind of funny because I feel like you might be taller than her. It could be just the way I see you sitting and her standing behind you, but it gives me this reflection that you're taller than she is. And she's reaching around you and kind of grabbing you around your neck, like not purposely choking you, but a little bit choking you. She's just very happy for someone to tell you that she's near and that she loves you, and that she's perfectly fine. She looks great, by the way. So she's happy. So let's talk about several things. I love this question. I think it's really interesting. I love all the questions, by the way. I do. Nobody leaves Earth unless it's their time. It doesn't matter why they left. So your sister, and again, I do think our oncology system in the world needs to change drastically. One of the things that is not a common practice in the United States, in fact, a lot of cancer patients don't even know that this information could exist for them, is whether it's blood, but mostly tissue. If a person's diagnosed with cancer, it can be sent off to a lab. It is, unfortunately, because it's not a standard of care in the US, people have to pay extra for where they do some testing. So in modern medicine, they've made a determination that these type of cancers, whatever type a person has, or a group of cancers, because there's hundreds of different breast cancers, believe it or not, that certain chemos work for certain cancers. But everyone's unique. Everyone's different. Everyone has different emotional chemistry and biology in their body based on their emotions or lack of emotions, or, belief systems. It affects their neurological cellular activity. So not everyone is going to respond in kind to certain chemotherapies. So there are tests that can be done where a piece of the tissue goes off to a lab and they test the chemo that modern medicine would utilize to see if it actually works. I think that is a game changer. If we can find out if a certain chemical is going to actually kill that cancer, then it would make more sense if that's the route a person wants to take in order to heal their body. But the other part of this coin is your sister did not die of a mistake. She wanted to leave her body at that time, which is kind of a complicated thing because souls, when they incarnate to Earth, have 5 exit routes when they want to leave their physical form. There's 5 potential opportunities that they'll have when they want to leave. There's one that they hope they will choose. I think your sister's was not the one. It was one of the other 4 options, and it opened up for her and she went, oh yeah, I'll go. I'm ready. Now, this isn't conscious. This is unconscious because this is part of the soul. So it's not a mistake that, that she was diagnosed with cancer. It's not a mistake that she died of the chemotherapy. It's unfortunately, a lot of people die of certain treatments, and cancer treatments are kind of up there in the potential, or they can't stop the growth of cancer, right? They can't. So, but she wanted to go then, and people choose how they want to die even before they incarnate. And I know some people think that that's just crazy talk, but it's actually real. Souls are powerful. They're geniuses. They're smart. They know that you only get your energy to leave your body because your body died. That's where we are consciously right now. That will change in the future. We won't have to die our bodies. We will, but we could just lower our pulse like Tibetan spiritual leaders do when they want to and reduce our blood pressure, and we can just leave naturally. And there's probably other ways where we could just walk out of our body, just walk out of it. So nothing bad happened. I know it was uncomfortable and sad and scary. I get that. But this is what your sister wanted from her higher self, from her soul perspective. And saying all of that, there isn't an exact formula for why people get cancer. Here's my perception, and nobody has to agree with me. I believe that when we come to Earth, we go, hey, I want to learn this. I want to explore this. I want to change this belief system. We want to have all these experiences. And we typically say before we incarnate, hey, if I don't figure this out by 35, 40, whatever, 80, 20, it depends on each individual, then I'm ready and willing to have something happen in my life that could help me to grow and expand my consciousness. Some people, it's the health of their body. Other people, it's a divorce. Other people, it's bankruptcy. It could be the loss of a child. Certain things will provoke us to grow and change. And not everybody is provoked through their physical form. I'm one of those people, if something weird happens to my body, I'm going, oh, that's really, I wonder what's going on. Interesting. So it doesn't really force me to change. Other things force me to go, oh, I better get my act together because I don't want that to ever happen again. So that's why cancer or diabetes or other health issues, degenerative joint disease, I could go on and on, Crohn's disease, epilepsy, is because there's something that the person wants to learn, and the universe and their soul knows, oh, we'll get their attention if it's their body. Ding, 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 ding. And so in saying all of that, of course there are emotional components, but there are consistencies, but people are also unique and different. So of course I looked at your energy, and your energy was very unique. So the heart chakra, which governs breast tissue, it's in the center of the chest. It's emerald green. Yours is not emerald green. It's kind of a yellow green. There's like greenness in the center of the vortex, and then it's yellow on the outside. But the whole thing needs to be emerald green. It fills up your entire chest cavity. You're an older soul. You've given way too much in this lifetime. You need to set a lot of boundaries with yourself. No, 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 no. And I would tell those boys of yours, you have a wonderful mother. You're very lucky, and I deserve for you to treat me that way. Set a boundary with them. That's part of your what you wanted to learn in this lifetime is why you've attracted some difficult relationships and situations, because you wanted to learn to set boundaries. And the boundaries are with yourself. So when you set a boundary with your kid, like, you have a wonderful mother, you're very lucky and you need to treat me that way. That means when they don't, you walk away. You go, hey, I deserve better than that. So I think you should have me over for dinner, or I'm not going to cook for you guys this week, or whatever the situation is. And I know the circumstances that I'm recommending these examples may not fit your scenario, but I think you get the drift. You have to set boundaries, but you first have to say the truth. You have a wonderful mother. You're very lucky, because some kids need to start to be taught the truth. Some children are taught that it's okay to have a parent that's going to bend over backwards and do everything for them, and they don't have to value or appreciate them. That's hogwash. That's not true. So what happens for you, because the heart chakra is the highest receptivity center in the physical body, so it takes in the most amount of energy out of any of the other vortexes through the back of the heart chakra. You're doing that, which I didn't expect that. A lot of times when I see people who have health issues in the chest area, they have a major leak in the back of the heart chakra, just huge flood of their life forces running out of their body, which makes it very difficult for them to heal. That's what your sister had. Huge, enormous leak of her own life force. So medicine can't work when we don't have energy to support it. Doesn't matter what kind of medicine it is. So you're taking energy in, a lot of it, and it's moving into your body. So it's feeding your body, but then it's moving out. So it's like a constant flow, almost like a force, a brilliant bright light energy moving into your body through the back of your heart chakra, feeding yourselves for a short period of time, right? And the rest of your body. And then it's moving out. So your job is to start to feel that you're worthy and deserving, so you can keep this energy in. That's your homework. You need to feel with authenticity that you are valuable, that you are deserving, that you are worthy. Okay. That's what I think anyway. But good job and allowing your body to heal the way that you want it to. Good for you. Thank you, everybody, for listening to the show. If you like my what if questions that I sometimes share with our listeners, you can actually look at my website. I have 2 decks. Currently, I'm working on a health deck, by the way, what if questions, because I think they work really well. And I think they work better than affirmations. And so I have a deck on intuitive abilities, what if questions, and then I have a deck that's pretty general. It covers all aspects. It was my first deck. It's called Volume 1. This is just from the deck. What if there's magic everywhere I go, communicating to me all that I wish to know? And so when we have a positive what if question, our brain starts to calibrate energy that is in match to the solution of the question. And then it runs through the blood-brain barrier and starts to calibrate all the energy in the rest of your body. And the next thing you know, you have a solution. Things start to change. Magic, in terms of this question, begins to appear and be a natural part of your life. Have a beautiful day. Joyful blessings. Bye-bye.